recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California. Undercity Comics, at Undercity Comics presents Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 215. My name is Nick Valero.
I'm Sean.
Renee.
And this is... welcome to the show,
everyone.
I was so close.
Oh my God.
Almost.
I was so close.
Brian's going to talk about that next week.
My tisms kicked in on that one.
The script.
The script in front of me.
Script was
Because you
right
know what it
there.
was? I looked at the script and I was like, I don't need it. like a moron. I went, we don't need it. Hey everybody, how is it going? Welcome to the show. You guys, how was your guys' week? Was it good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fun.
Rene did things, I'm assuming. But while Rene is fixing my audio, because apparently I think I'm too loud. I'm a little high. I think I'm a little high. I haven't been here in 2 weeks, so I got to make sure that my voice is nice and level.
Yeah, because that was set for Brian's voice. That's why.
Well, that's because he has a little baby voice. That's why.
Yeah.
It's like a little bird. Beep, 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 beep. That's
Yeah.
how it sounds. But let's get into what we always have to go through, and I always struggle with. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to issue 215. Don't forget to... I can't read my own handwriting.
Uh-oh.
Don't forget to check out our website at keepingupwiththenerds.com. Check out our socials, our Instagram, Facebook, and x.com. And also make sure to listen to us on Podbean and also subscribe to our YouTube / Keeping Up with the Nerds.
Yeah.
See, that's
Not
what happens
bad.
when we write it down.
Not bad. I feel like Brian's going to nitpick, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
of course.
We'll see.
Of course, that's how it usually is. How was your guys' week? Did you guys do anything fun? Did you guys do anything different? Anything else? I haven't been here in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
which
so actually, what have you been doing for the past 2 weeks?
I went to do sports ball first. Oh no, I went to go to Chuck E. Cheese because Monica's nephew, he had invited me to go to Chuck E. Cheese because he was like, "Is Nick coming?" And Monica was like, "I don't know. He records that day." And then he was like, "I really want Nick to come." And then I went, and then he ignored me the entire night. So I felt respected. No.
You're singing happy birthday to him. You're like, oh, smash your face.
No, he had a good time.
That's good.
You know, they were running around. Chuck E. Cheese is cool. I didn't know that the Chuck E. Cheese in Whittier is almost finished.
Oh, is it?
The one at the quad.
Yeah.
They're almost done, dude. They already put the games in. They have a huge trampoline area and everything else. It's pretty cool.
I think one of the things I like about Chuck E. Cheese is that you could just order a pizza and get out of there. You don't have to.
Well, the thing is that if you don't have a kid, you have to.
Oh, okay.
They won't let you stay.
Really?
They will not let
like,
you stay.
No, but like, can't you just order a pizza and then just pick it up and go?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
But if you ask, like, I'm just here to order a pizza, they won't let you get past the gate.
Really?
Yeah, because when I walked up, they went, because I was trying to walk in and they go, "Are you here for somebody?" And I go, "Oh, I'm here for a kid's birthday party." And then I had to say his name, and then they were like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then they let me through. And then when we were leaving, because then they stamp you.
Could you imagine if a person was just like, "Oh, are you here for someone?" Yeah, I'm here for that. Pick up that kid in the blue shirt.
Give me that one.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
That one. He looks vulnerable.
Right? Just like, are you here to pick up someone? Yeah. That kid.
No, but it was. I actually really like Chuck E. Cheese, like the way that they redone things, because they have a pretty solid system now. When you walk in, if you have a kid, they have a specific stamp that they give to parents and kids.
Oh, okay.
So it's a stamp that goes on, and they're matching stamps, and then they change the stamp per kid. And then what ends up happening is that when you're leaving, if you're leaving with a kid, they're like, "I need to see your stamp." They won't let you leave. And because it happened to us when we were leaving, that there was a family, and then the aunt had the kid, and the mom was all the way in the back.
Oh, crap.
And then the aunt walked up, and then she goes, and the lady goes, "Can I see your stamps?" And then she put the light on it, and she goes, "Your stamps don't match." She goes, "Oh, well, I'm his aunt." She goes, "Your stamps don't match. I don't care."
Dang.
And then she goes, "Well, the mom's in the back. She's all the way in the back of the line. I took him up to the front. She was still cleaning. She's walking up right now, and she goes, "Well, go get her.
Yeah.
You're not leaving.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're not leaving
here with that kid. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not leaving here." And then the mom walked up, showed her stamp,
It's a liability.
and they matched. And then she goes, "Okay, now you can leave."
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm okay with that.
She held the ground.
I'm totally okay with that.
I like that energy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
I'm
that.
when it comes to kids and stuff, 100%. I get it where it's like, oh no, that's my nephew, yada yada. I don't know you.
Yeah.
Why would I trust you?
That could be a full face lie.
Yeah, that could be a hardcore lie, and her going like, oh yeah, the mom is over there. It's like, what about if, it's the end of the night, the mom's busy and everything else, and you just snatched up this kid and walked out.
That's true.
That's not, so I was totally okay with them, halting us up, and because it was a little bit of a line, because they were checking everybody, and I totally get that, because if I was Chuck E. Cheese, that's a hardcore liability. Could you imagine if there was a news story of kid gets abducted at Chuck E. Cheese? Yeah. The company would just... you would never survive. The company would never survive. Yeah. So if you have a kid's birthday party and you're planning it, Chuck E. Cheese is a solid choice.
Yeah. Safe.
It's really safe. It's really safe, and they always have somebody at the door. Yeah. So even if like a kid tries to like leave, they'd redirection them. To go like, no, you're supposed to stay over here. You don't have a pet.
I just want to see like a Chuck E. Cheese worker sees the kids running to the door, they just flip around and he just
that didn't happen today, but I thought it was funny because one of my students, he was on the jungle gym, and then out of nowhere, I just hear him crying, and I'm like, what the? I go, I know that cry. Where is he? He's literally under the jungle gym, and his legs are stuck. And he's upside down. And I go, who put you in this? Like, how did this happen? And he goes, I did it. And I'm like, how did you? Because he locked his shoes in the what was it like in the underneath of the jungle gym, so that way he could put himself upside down. And he was stuck. Yeah. And he just couldn't wiggle himself free.
No, his feet are locked in.
Yeah, his feet were just locked in. And then he was too high, where even if he wiggled out of his shoes, he was gonna just go boom right into the floor. Yeah. So he just went, I don't know what to do. I walked over to him, I'm like, how did you do this? And he goes, I don't know. I go, do you need help? And he goes, yes, please. So then I got him down. Yeah. It was really funny. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and then I went to the Angels game. Yeah, that Angels versus Astros, and I saw Astros because it was an Angels game.
Everyone lost.
Yeah, everybody lost because it was an Angels game.
Yeah. What's wrong with the Angels?
You know what? It's been 2 years since I've been to an Angels game. Yeah. I'm happy if it never happens again. So I went. I didn't tell you guys because I thought it would be a really thing. It would be an interesting story to happen. Yeah. So we went, and I got there late because the Angels game started at 6:30. I get out of work at 6. Yeah. So I showed up probably like around like 7:30ish around there. I only missed 3 innings. I'm like, dude, sweet. Yeah. I get there, and then Monica hasn't eaten yet, and I haven't eaten. So she goes, let's go get food, and then we'll come back. We go get food. We come back. 6th inning. It's already the 6th inning. I'm like, how in the world did we miss more than half this game? Yeah. And then 6th inning stretch is happening, and then at the end of the 6th inning stretch, they stop selling alcohol.
Oh, that's right.
So me and Monica are like, we had already bought some when we went to go get our food. So she goes, let's go get another one. Yeah. Let's go get one more before they cut off alcohol. So we go, we're standing in line. By the time we get back, it's already the end of the 7th inning.
Whoa. Wow.
And I'm like, dude, I barely sat in my seat. I've been sitting.
I haven't seen anyone pitched. Yeah.
I've barely seen this game. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on. I looked at the score. I'm like, they're getting wrecked. Like
the Angels?
The Angels are just getting wrecked. Yeah. Like they were just losing. They just kept getting out. Like there wasn't any momentum. There was nothing in the game. They were. That's why it was going so quickly. Because every single time that the Astros would every single time that the ball would rotate, like the Angels would just immediately get out. Just every single time. I was like, oh my God,
that's embarrassing.
Yeah. So then we're watching the game. And everything else, mind you, it's near the end. And then not only that, but also I've noticed baseball games kind of just end. Yeah. They're just like, okay.
There's no build up, nothing like that.
There's no build, especially when there's no tension in the air. When somebody has obviously won. and like everybody's just kind of.
Baseball can be a bit of a boring sport sometimes.
It is.
It's hit or miss.
Yeah. Well, if it's like a really, really good game, it's really hard not to get romantic about baseball.
Yeah.
When you follow the story of a player or when you're doing anything else, it's really hard to not get romantic about baseball because baseball is a great sport.
The last baseball game I went to was an Angels game, but it was Angels versus the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. It was like years ago. I think I was like 16 or 17 at the time. My uncle gets season tickets for the Angels, and I think one time he usually keeps the Dodgers games like for him and stuff, and he gives the other ones to like his coworkers or friends. Last minute came up, he was supposed to go to an Angels and Dodgers game, but he gave it to me and my dad, and he goes, here, you go ahead and have these. Like, I was gonna go today, but I can't because I have work and stuff like that. Yeah, and we're like, oh sweet, cool, so I went. It was fun. But I do remember the tension in the air and stuff like that. The Dodgers fans are
Dodgers and Angels, anything like that. When it's a big rivalry, there's a lot of. So we're there, we're watching the game. Yeah. Monica gets kind of mad while we're at the game because there's a group of people. Because at all sporting events, if people haven't filled in seats, people from the top come down.
Move down.
Yeah, they move down. So there was a group of people that came down, and they were sitting. And because when we left, nobody was sitting there. When we came back, there was a full group that filled up the row. And I'm like, okay, not a big deal. Whatever, it happens. That's sports.
Yeah.
We come in. I think these guys are super upset because the Angels are losing. So me and Monica are walking through. We have our drinks, we have our food, everything else. We're walking back, and everybody's getting up to let you through. Yeah. Everybody's been to an Angel game or to a baseball stadium. This the aisles are not huge. You got to kind of stand up and get out of the way so that somebody can pass by you.
Super narrow.
Yeah, it's super narrow. These two dudes did not want to get up for Monica. Did not. Jerks. And everything like that. And she was like, excuse me, can you move? Yeah. And the guy was like, and she was like, what the? Yeah. What's going on? I just want to get to my seat. It's literally right there. Yeah. And she didn't say anything. And then the guy as she was passing him, he then yelled in her ear. And she was like, what the? Yeah. She was pissed. She was so mad. Yeah. And his buddy right next to him, because I was about to say something, and I was like, hey. And the guy guy that he was with goes, hey, man, my friend's being an a-hole. I'll deal with it. Yeah. Don't even worry about it. I'll deal with it. And I heard him next to us going dude, what the heck is wrong with you? What did they do? And the guy was like, oh, well, they're losing. And he goes, okay, what does that have to do with anybody? Yeah,
what's that got to do with them?
Yeah, what did they do to you? Yeah. And then he was drunk and he was being an a-hole and everything else. But
sore loser. Yeah.
So that's our first encounter with somebody that's being a sore loser.
Oh, really?
So then we leave and we end up going to the parking lot and everything else. We're going to the parking lot. We get in the car and it is now bumper to bumper traffic. There's no way of getting out. So what do? When it's bumper to bumper traffic, you slowly kind of start tapping your way out, and then you make your way.
Yeah. You nudge.
You kind of nudge, and you make some space. So I nudged out, made some space. I'm about to drive forward. Yeah. Monica's in the car. We're stuck. It's parking lot. Yeah. Once I pull out, we're stuck. This guy from behind me gets out of his car, comes forward, talks to the car that's in front of me. Okay. And then I'm kind of going okay, whatever. Yeah. And then as he's talking to them, he then stands in front of my car.
No.
Right up against the bumper.
No.
And then he then says, isn't it really rude when people are just so entitled that they feel like they can just cut in front of whoever they want? And then Monica's like, is he talking about us? Yeah. And I go, yeah, I think so. And he was up against my bumper. I couldn't even move because there was a car right behind me. And then there was this car. And now there's this dude that's standing right there. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? And so I kind of see a path to get out. Yeah. And I see I can get out. This guy's right in the middle of the car. I can't move. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, man, can you get out of the way so that way I can get through? And he just totally ignores me. Stands in the way. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So we're just going to act like an a-hole. You're just going to act like an a-hole.
So he chose to be an a-hole.
Yeah, so you're choosing to be an a-hole right now. And he goes, I'm choosing to be this? I'm choosing?
Yeah, clearly you are.
And then he was like, oh, you're the blah, blah, blah. And he starts getting it. And then he starts yelling at me. Going you guys are entitled, yada, yada, yada. How dare you? You cut me off. And I'm like, dude, how did I cut you off? Yeah. I've been stuck in the same position. And he was like, I was right behind you and you cut me off. to get out of the spot. And I go, you were parked. Like there was no movement.
Yeah.
I can't cut you off if you're physically stopped. And
Yeah.
you had like a space in between me to get out.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he's getting upset. He then comes around the car and starts approaching my driver's seat. And then as soon as I see the opening, I go, wah, and then I just take off.
Good.
And I take off, and then he's stuck in this area, and the line I get into just immediately leaves. It goes out of the park. And Monica was like, that was just instant karma.
Yeah.
That was just instant karma. Like, that guy's probably still stuck there.
Yeah.
And, now he had to go to his car, and he had to do all these other things.
I will be stuck there for another 3 hours. Just
I hope so, too. I hope his car broke down.
Yeah.
Like, but I just don't, I don't understand people leaving sporting events sometimes because, and I get it. I get into stuff too.
Yeah.
I get really into like movies. I get into like video games, everything else. I don't understand when people take sports so seriously that it affects everything around them and it affects everybody around them. Like, oh, my team lost today. Well, that ruins my entire day. Or, oh, now I'm just pissed off at everybody.
Yeah.
And everything else.
But it's funny because it's baseball fans that are like that.
No,
football fans
are kind of like that too.
Football fans are kind of like that, but at least if you make fun of another team, it's their mutual respect of like, okay, that's my team, you're your team. That's completely fine. Yeah, because there's people here that are football fans here, and they bag on each other and stuff like that.
I feel like that's in the kind of in the realm in the ecosystem of it. Baseball fans are so touchy.
Yeah,
basketball fans.
Basketball fans.
I think they, or maybe soccer fans might take the cake.
You know who I
soccer? You know what? If Bryan was here, he would say soccer.
I think they
fans,
take the cake.
Yeah, soccer fans are pretty crazy. Like hooligans. Hooligans are pretty bad too.
Yeah.
You know who I honestly do quite enjoy though? Hockey fans. I love them. Because hockey fans are just like, just punch him in the face.
Yeah.
And that's like a tactic that they use too.
But you know what? You know what's interesting though, and I feel like this happens too. I feel like the more violent the sport is, the less violent the audience is.
Yeah.
Because the violence was taken out on the field. But also, I do feel like that kind of connects too, where it's like, oh no, because they were violent on the field, they're like, oh, they're amped and everything else. So. Just totally depends. But yeah, once again, if I don't have to go to another Angels game, I'm okay with it.
I think in baseball fans, they all generally hate Angels and the Astros. I think that's like a common thing.
In all fairness, the stadium was empty.
Okay.
You know what it had more of? Ducks fans.
Really?
Because it was Angels Ducks night. So like Nightwing, which like Wild Wing was there, which was super funny because I was nerding out about Wild Wing because I saw him up on the thing and I was like, dude, Wild Wing's here? That's so cool. And then Monica's like, how do you know who Wild Wing is? And I'm like, it's Wild Wing. How do you not know who Wild Wing is? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I go, okay, so Disney bought the Ducks.
Was Wild Wing?
Okay, so
from the animated show.
Oh, from the Ducks show.
From the Ducks cartoon show. They then made him their mascot.
Yeah.
Really?
The Ducks mascot is Wild Wing from the TV show.
Yeah.
That's
from
cool.
the 90s.
That's
and
really
he
cool.
still is a duck with the helmet.
Yeah.
It still looks
and the visor?
Still looks exactly the same as from the 90s.
That's so
then I
cool.
started telling Monica like it was a history lesson of Wild Wing. And I was like, yeah. And then when Disney bought them, then they decided to make a movie and they called it The Mighty Ducks. And it was about these kids and everything like that. And then the reason why they're called the Ducks is because of Ducksworth. And then that goes into the Mighty Ducks and that was supposed to sponsor. And then I went into a whole thing about it. And
the whole spiel.
And Monica's just looking at me glazed, just like, okay. And because mind you, I'm talking about the Mighty Ducks and the Ducks at this point. I still haven't gotten to Wild Wing. And then she's like, she goes, what does this have to do with the mascot, Nick?
What we just saw.
Yeah, like, what does this have to do with it? And I was like, oh, because the mascot is based off of a 1993 cartoon on Disney Channel called The Mighty Ducks. And they were alien ducks that came down and they had the goalie mask, which was like the greatest power in the world. Yeah. And then they were fighting off an evil villain who was trying to capture it. And they were like the last of their kind. And then she goes, why didn't you start with that?
and not 30 minutes in and not getting to the point.
She was like, why did you start with that? Like, what are you talking about?
Conversation would have ended 30 minutes ago.
She goes, that is the shortest explanation you could have given. And you went into a whole history lesson of the ducks. And I'm like, what's interesting?
Passionate about it. You're passionate about
Yeah.
it. You know, that's fine.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
Also, is it hot in here or is it just me?
It's a little hot in here, I think, because the lights and stuff like that.
Okay.
I might.
You might need to tinkle with that.
Yeah, I might.
Tinker, not tinkle.
Yeah.
Don't tinkle on it. Don't do that.
Like, just hearing me go in the corner. Zip.
This is how I turned on the air conditioning. But yeah, man. So that's what I did for my 2 weeks. I know we've been talking for like 20 minutes already, and there's like an elephant in the room of Bryan's not here.
Yeah, he's gone.
Bryan isn't here. We swapped out. I took 2 weeks off. Now he's taking a week off because Bryan's birthday is today.
It is.
Bryan's birthday is today.
Happy
Happy birthday,
Happy
Bryan.
birthday.
He's 42 years old. Don't forget to let him know.
Yeah, that guy is. I thought he was 76.
No.
At heart,
His soul.
Yeah.
His soul
His
is
soul is
76. His soul
Yeah.
is 76. I think
I think people wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah. He has get off my lawn energy.
Hey, Mr. Wilson.
Back in my day, candy was only 10 cents.
2 pennies.
I could go to the local town with a quarter. I would get 2 bags of candy, go see a movie, and buy a Coke.
You know what? That's actually not a terrible idea for a skit where we all dress up as old men.
Yeah.
And it's like, who are you guys supposed to be? We're Bryan.
Just do that old man kind of like.
Where are me?
But
Where's my hemorrhoid cream?
Oh, God.
But yeah, him and his wife, they're enjoying a nice night out.
Yes.
They're enjoying his birthday.
You can follow Bryan at and watch his story.
Yeah, you can watch his story and see what he's doing right now. Stalk him.
Or you just go to his address at.
He's putting an air tag in his car.
Which is also really funny too, because I have done that to Bryan.
What?
Because there was this one day where I was going to Disneyland, and then as I was going to Disneyland,
you told me this, yeah.
I looked at Bryan's story, and I saw that he was watching the fireworks show at Disneyland, and I saw exactly where he was, and I was like, I know where he is, and because he did this,
Yeah.
he did the panoramic of like, look at the fireworks,
Yeah.
but I saw the 2 stories he was in between, and I'm like, I know exactly where he is.
Yeah.
He's right next to the
Pinpoint,
candy
yeah.
store. He's literally right next to the candy
Yeah.
store. And then so I texted Bryan and I go, hey, Bryan. And he's like, hey, what's up, man? And I go, how was the fireworks show? He goes, where are you?
Just hear it in the distance.
that was literally the main thing he put. He was just like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, can you get me a piece of candy? And he's like, I go, I see you right next to the candy store, the candy corner. And he goes, can you see me right now? And I texted him back and I'm like, oh, no, I see it on your story.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, I thought you were like watching me from a distance. Like you had spotted me. I go, no, we're walking in the park right now. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Because he didn't know that we were going to be at the park. I didn't know he was going to be at Disneyland either. I was just going through Instagram on the tram. And then I saw the fireworks show and I go, oh, Andy and Bryan are here.
Yep.
And then Monica was like, oh, we should like meet them up. And I go, and then she goes, text them and see where they're at. And I go, I know exactly where they're at.
Yeah.
And so she saw me texting going, how was the fireworks show? And she goes, Jesus Christ. You could have just said, hey man, I'm also here. You want to meet up?
Yeah.
And I go, that's less fun. That's
Just be normal, please.
Yeah.
Just for a little bit.
I was like, that's less fun.
Yeah.
This is so much more fun. He's now going to go like, where are you?
Like from Batman Begins.
Where are you? Here.
You're just like, here.
If I could have done that, I almost wanted to wait.
Yeah.
And
You
like
should've.
do it and wait so that way he
Should
would
have.
like that way he could have been like looking around and then go, I'm right here.
Behind you.
Just to freak him out. That would have been great. Anything else happened to you guys this week?
Other than we all saw Transformers 1 last night.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we talked- that's one of the topics we'll be talking about today.
So today
Or
we
today.
have a decent amount of comic strips, but I do want to still talk about Agatha all along.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Penguin, and we're also going to end with Transformers 1 with a short review of that.
Yeah.
Everything else, but let's get into. Oh, and Sean, you got your Warhammer stuff this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't care about that.
Okay.
Uh,
That's fine. I wasn't gonna mention it either.
Yeah.
It's so bad because I do.
Yeah. Yeah, you're in the same boat.
I care.
Sean
Dude,
has
they're-
gotten me into crack,
Dude,
and
we're all in.
I'm in.
You're
I,
in
I,
it.
I
Yeah.
have paint. I have brushes.
Yeah.
I have glue. Apparently, it's bad glue.
Yeah. You
but
already
I have
had all that
glue.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Apparently, it's bad glue, but now I know. Now I know I have to go spend another $10 to go get another bottle of glue before my bottles come in.
where'd you get
It's
all this
important.
stuff at?
Amazon.
Oh, okay.
I just Amazoned it, and then it's been slowly coming in.
Just Primetime doesn't sell Warhammer stuff. do
No, they don't.
Unfortunately,
no.
they don't. The only place that sold Warhammer stuff that was in Whittier was Geeks.
You know, we
Geeks.
have to blurb that out. Just kidding.
Like Geeks at the time did.
Jimmy's too. For
Jimmy's
back in the day.
Yeah.
Like,
Jimmy's back in the day. If you do want to get board game stuff and
Yeah.
Warhammer stuff, actually in kind of down the street, actually, it's not too far. Shuffle and Cut.
oh yeah,
yeah.
Shuffle and Cut. Great
Shu-
place.
Shuffle and Cut. They do.
They're
It's
in
primarily.
La Habra, right?
Yeah, they're in La Habra. Board game, cards.
Yeah.
Another.
Oh, they're down
really,
the street from me. Yeah.
Yeah. They're really good.
They're off of La Habra Boulevard, across the street from the In and Out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's kind of like in like an industrial area. Honestly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you Google it, because if you don't know where it is, you'll pass it.
And if it's
not,
not-
they don't have
No.
a great sign.
And
They
if it's
don't have a
not
great sign.
there, go to the Realm, which is owned by the same owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, because the Realm and Shuffle and Cut, I like them for board games.
Yeah.
They have a great selection of
Oh,
board games.
big time. And like
And paints.
exclusive stuff from Kickstarter.
Yeah, like,
like,
paint,
wow.
paints, Kickstarters, like some. Their Yu-Gi-Oh selection is
Exclusive
their their
premium.
card selection is okay. It's decent.
The
but-
Magic stuff they have there it was
Oh,
was
yeah,
good.
I do. Was it? They do have some pretty big tournaments though. Like
Yeah.
I've actually been to a Shuffle and Cut tournament. They're actually
So,
pretty big.
I remember the owner for Shuffle and Cut came in. This was like a year after COVID.
Uh-huh.
And he came in and he was just talking and I was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" Because I've seen him before there and stuff. We said hi and stuff. When I've been to his shop because I think like a year ago, like 2 years after COVID, I was doing board game night with my friends, and they would play board games over there, and I would talk to the owner. And so he came in, he's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing good. How's your shop?" He goes, "No, it's all right." He goes, "I'm thinking about," and he goes, "Don't tell anyone this yet." I go, "Okay, what's up?" He goes, "I'm thinking about maybe closing it." And I go, "What's up? Like, is it going that bad?" He goes, "No, it's just because I own the Realm too." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "It's just I have that good space there at the Realm." So I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to phase out because he did comics and board games at the Realm, and Shuffle and Cut was just straightly just board games and card games.
And it was like it was a lot of tabletop.
Yeah, and
a lot of tabletop.
he said I'm not selling a lot of comics that I thought I was going to be, so I'm thinking about phasing out comics and closing my contract with Diamond and stuff like that, and then just phasing that out and bringing all my inventory from Shuffle and Cut into the Realm. I'm like, "Oh, so you can make Realm exclusive gaming store?" He goes, yeah. I'm like, "Okay, cool." So, and that was years ago. So I remember a year ago from today, I remember customers were telling me that the Realm was selling their comic books and trade paperbacks for like cheap, like
Oh, they're
50%
trying
off.
to get rid of them.
Yeah, 60% off, 80% off, and stuff like that.
But
Wow.
I think if you, because I've been to the Realm and I've
Yeah.
also been to Shuffle and Cut.
Yeah.
If you're
I've only
looking,
been Shuffle and Cut.
if you want to get like a really good board game, and the thing I do like about it too is that whenever they get a new board game, they play it with the staff.
yes.
Oh,
yeah.
do
So
they?
that's a thing that they do. So they play it with the staff. So that way,
Oh, it's still open. Shuffle
yeah.
and Cut.
So that way they know what the game is about. Because I was talking with a couple of them and I was like, "Hey, what is this game about?" And they were like, "Oh man, it's super cool. So you do this, this, and this," and they were explaining how to play the game. And
so both stores are still open. Okay.
yeah, both stores are still
Yeah,
open.
okay.
But yeah, so I really enjoy that. But I do like that Shuffle and Cut has a large, extensive. Like,
Yeah.
they have a huge selection of paint.
Yeah, and all the
And
all,
what was it? And mats
yeah.
too, like mats, paint,
all of the
terrain.
all of the employees and the owner included know their craft,
And they're
They
super
know.
nice.
Yeah,
Super nice.
super nice, super friendly, good environment. It's the exact same environment that Primetime Collectibles does as well
Just
too.
it's a different thing.
Yeah,
It's different because I feel like Primetime is more of like the collectible space.
yeah,
Yeah.
And everything else, and they're more like tabletop. Like this
Yeah.
is more of a tabletop. Store.
yeah.
Very welcoming energy at both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
both
absolutely.
places
And-
super
and,
welcoming.
And you can have both. Too.
Yeah.
It's not I'm going to pick either one store. You can have both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Marvel and DC, they can live in the same
They can
world.
live in the same
Yep.
world. You can read. You can do both.
You can go to both and not offend anybody.
Yeah, it's okay to go both ways.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into comic strips, guys, right?
Let's do it.
All right. Comic strips. These are topics that only take 5 to 10 minutes, as long as nobody interrupts. Sean.
Yeah, sure.
First.
So this one time at band camp,
Oh, my piccolo. Okay. So really quick. So let's just get into it. Some Marvel news. Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars finally have dates. They have like release windows. Doomsday should be releasing May 2026. Avengers Secret Wars, they say, shall be releasing a year later in May 2027.
Okay. That's not bad.
Which is not bad.
and that's when they release.
That's when they're going to be releasing.
I wonder what's going to be the movies in between those. That's the thing. We'll probably get like maybe like 2 or 3 movies. I think.
I mean, because as of right now, what's on
Maybe a
the
miniseries.
yeah, I mean, so far what's on the docket is just Thunderbolts, Captain America, and what is it?
Spider-Man's in the works.
Spider-Man apparently is in the works. Agatha, Armor Wars is apparently dead.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they're
is
not
it?
doing anything with that.
Apparently,
No?
Yeah.
Don Cheadle. So they came up to Don Cheadle and they were like, "Hey, where are we at with Armor Wars?" And he goes, "What's that?" And they were like,
Ouch.
"Hey."
That sucks.
So the
I heard-
the conclusion is that everybody just thinks that the project's dead.
I think what they're doing is that they could be not merging, but I think what they're doing is that they're taking aspects that they had for Armor Wars and putting it into Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ironheart is also coming out too. I feel that it's gonna be very weird for Ironheart.
She didn't have a compelling storyline.
She doesn't have a good-
Wakanda forever.
And you know what? I feel like Ironheart, unfortunately, because she's such an interesting character.
She is. No, she
In the
Riri
comic
Williams
books,
is actually
Riri
really
Williams
cool.
is really cool. She's
Yeah.
a very compelling character, and I think she could have just been explained in an earlier Avengers movie or in an earlier Iron Man movie, and then just say that she's an intern.
Yeah.
That works at Stark Tech, and she's somebody that Tony Stark has been like grooming of going like, oh, like I saw her. She has great talent and everything else, and I brought her on board.
Yeah.
And that would have been a very interesting storyline
Yeah,
because
because
then
you could still use that whole thing when he's at the IT thing.
MIT, you can start
MIT,
that.
yeah, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I was, there's a Venmo, like a video message meant for, her and stuff." He goes like, "Yeah, I was looking at all the projects. Yours was the most compelling that I decided, so I wanted to make sure that you got
yours,
yeah.
or you could have done so many other things that connected her to Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Right now, it's kind of weird because she's kind of like a Tony Stark fangirl.
yeah,
And
which is cool. It's good. I mean, I guess it's the easiest writing aspect to do.
I feel like with that one, Riri Williams is an afterthought.
No,
I do feel like she's an afterthought, and I feel like
then the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to be Doctor Doom,
it's weird.
The hype of it is kind of having another Iron character is kind of dying out now.
I thought it would have been really cool for Iron. The reason why I was really interested in Armor Wars is I liked the idea of Rhodey coming back after being taken by the Skrulls.
Yes.
Him finding out that Tony is dead, and not only that, but also Tony's armors and his technology are now being just used for are being misused.
Yeah.
And it's against his legacy. And now Rhodey is like, I have to fix this because Tony's not here anymore. So I need to take this on myself to figure out how exactly do I stop this from happening and maintain my friend's legacy, because Stark Tech is also, I think Stark Tech isn't going under, but they're under investigation because of what happened with Spider-Man. Because remember they said that they had taken over, the government had secured all of like the armor and everything else.
All of Tony's tech that he's been having that is used for the government has been all been seized and stuff like that.
And then Stark Tech had been almost shut down.
Yeah.
By the end of by the beginning of No Way Home.
Yeah. And I think
that's the weird.
No.
Where does that go?
So I don't know if that means then the government kind of just because at the end of No Way Home, remember they all forgot who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
They all forget about Peter Parker. So I don't know if that means that the government automatically just like dropped that whole investigation because they forgot about Peter Parker.
I don't know because that would involve Spider-Man. So technically they would still be under investigation from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be weird on how they explain that.
Yeah.
Let's get into Yakuza Like a Dragon is getting a live action TV movie. I mean a movie on Amazon Prime. It will be releasing October 24th.
Oh, cool.
You know what game that needs to become a show? Shenmue.
That does need it.
Shenmue.
Shenmue is really, really good. But Shenmue is kind of like Sifu.
Yeah.
So we're already getting a Sifu one. I wonder if that does well, we'll get a Shenmue one.
I hope so because Shenmue is actually. I mean, it's the most like tedious game to do, but it's a really good story. That's the thing. I'll show you.
I haven't played that one.
Shenmue is really, really good.
I've heard the name been brought up a lot.
I think the best YouTuber that showcased how ridiculous but also how fun Shenmue is Video Game Donkey.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
He did?
He did a good video on it.
The concept of Shenmue is basically a kid is learning how to do kung fu from his father, who has a dojo. Then there is somebody, his dad's arch nemesis attacks, killing his father, and then he leaves to Japan. He then leaves to the upper side of Japan, and Shenmue follows him to get there, and then he starts taking everybody out, Kill Bill style. Kind of learning how to do getting his martial arts even better to then take on the big bad.
Not only that, and then you're also doing like little side quests to like earn money. So you're actually learning to gamble in certain games and stuff, and you're also you also have to do stuff around like villages, little tasks.
It's definitely how I learned how to play Planko and also how to play mahjong.
Yeah.
These are
Really?
Yeah.
These are
Mahjong's confusing.
This is how I learned how to play those games.
Have you heard of the game for this the Super Nintendo for Japan? Have you heard of the game called Takeshi's Challenge?
No.
Really?
No, Takeshi's Challenge.
I remember it. I remember the name. I don't remember playing the game.
The game is basically just like a miscellaneous adventure that you have to do little things to find a buried treasure and stuff. So essentially, you leave your family, you go beat up these gangsters, you get information about how to get the treasure map. But the thing is too is that if you lose or die in the game, you legitly have to start all over.
So it's a roguelite.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to start all over to the beginning and do the exact same thing.
Okay.
To get to further than where you were in the game and stuff like that. Even if you're at the edge of the game and you die, you still have to start all over and stuff like that.
I like games that are like that. It's punishing, and it's like, okay, learn the game. This is what you need to do.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
In other news, we also have John Cena is to star in a live action matchbook movie.
Matchbox?
Matchbox. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a matchbook.
Matchbox.
What's Matchbox? The
Matchbox?
cars?
Yeah, the little cars.
No way.
Yeah, so apparently he's going to be... I guess they were like, oh, he did real well in Fast and the Furious. Let's do that.
Yeah, he died in Fast and the Furious.
So he died there, and then now he's going to be over there. That's
where he got reincarnated?
That's where he gets reincarnated.
Okay.
Into
Oh my God,
Matchbox.
can you imagine that's what all the Fast and Furious characters?
It's a Matchbox series?
Yeah.
They're actually some kid's imagination.
Yeah.
It turns out like Lego.
Oh my God.
Well, that's fun. John Cena does fun roles. He
does.
He's fun.
Genuinely.
He doesn't take on a movie that he knows that wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see. Sims developers say that they are not developing a Sims 5, but they are developing and will be releasing multiplayer for Sims 4.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, which is interesting. I never got into Sims.
I don't know. Does that mean that I can go into your house and erase all of the doors and windows and then set the building on fire and then destroy your Sims' lives? Can I do that? Because if not, that's not Sims.
Can you imagine just wrecking havoc in someone else's world? Yeah.
Oh no.
It's Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It just turns into Ragnarok. Yeah. It's just gods fighting amongst themselves.
One of the worlds is person's at work.
This is not gonna end well.
You're just messing up their house.
I'm telling you right now, that's a missed opportunity. It should have been called Sims 4 Ragnarok. And it's just you going into people's worlds and just messing them up.
Oh, yeah.
James Cameron is back in the news.
Wow.
What did he do this time?
100%. I feel like this is because Christopher Nolan got a lot of praise. So I assume this is why.
What?
He got jealous.
He got jealous. I do feel like he got jealous.
Why?
That's why he made this thing. James Cameron is set to direct The Last Train to Hiroshima. Do you know that book?
No.
So it's a book. It's a book about. It's a true life book.
Yeah.
It's a true life telling of a man who survived Nagasaki.
Yep.
Takes a train to Hiroshima.
Yep.
Survives both bombs. And lives to tell the story.
I've heard of this man.
Yes. James Cameron is now set to do it because he was like, Christopher Nolan got praise for doing one nuke. I'm going to get it for doing two
nukes.
I'm telling you right now, that is the reason why. Because Christopher Nolan got some praise. And he was like, whoa, hang on. He can't be, I'm in charge. No. He can't be all high and mighty on special effects.
Yeah.
That's my world.
Oh, my God.
I kind of want him to fail at this movie.
I really
now.
do.
I
really
just,
do too.
just
At this
to
point,
ego
it's
check.
it's just an ego check.
This is an
him.
ego check.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great story. I think it's an interesting story. If James Cameron just wasn't attached, I feel like
he's not doing it for the property and like the message of it. He's like, no, this is gonna make me even more famous.
No, he's not doing it to make the movie or just to tell the story.
Yeah.
He's doing it because out of spite. That's the thing. This is a spite movie.
Yeah. Okay. So, kind of theater news. You know, movie things. The National Association of Theater Owners has pledged $2.2 billion to upgrade movie theaters.
Oh.
They're going to be upgrading the projectors, the concession stand, sound systems. They're going to be adding pickleball courts, a new arcade, a bowling alley.
Yeah.
What else are they adding? And they're also going to be adding. I can't read my handwriting, but anyway, they're going to add a lot of stuff.
You guys got AMC stocks?
Dude, 2.2 billion.
$1 billion.
That's with a B, dude. So that means that they're going to have to buy out all the land next to it.
Yeah.
Or what they're going to do is they're going to empty out those theaters that they never use. And then rent them.
There's
which is
a lot of
kind
dead malls
interesting.
too. Like Puente Hills Mall, they could do a lot of stuff because the Barnes and Noble or the Borders bookstore.
The Borders, it's right next door.
Yeah, they can just expand, and then you also have the H&M there too.
But you know what would be really interesting? Because you know what that sounds like? It sounds like they went, why don't we do a round one? And then add movies.
Yeah.
So why don't we make it an entire movie night?
Aren't there movie theaters kind of like that already?
There is. It's called the Alamo Draft House.
Yeah.
Alamo Draft House is like that, but they don't have they don't have the courts. They don't have all these other things.
Yeah.
They just have a really cool arcade. They have great food. They have it's an experience when you go to these things.
Yeah.
And I think what movie theaters are going is, how do I keep you there longer to spend more money? Because then you're gonna go, okay, cool. My movie starts at 9:00. If we get there at 5, we can go do a game of pickleball. We can go do this. We can go to the arcade. We can get some food, and then we can go to our movie.
Now, hear me out. What if they use this money, AMC, to make a new form of AMC at the drive-in? So they just buy big plots of land, and it's all the money AMC would have, and they just kind of like have it like a.
You know what? It's the worst thing in the world, because like the Vinland movie drive-in, that's just totally like, it's abandoned. They only have swap.
They never upkept it. I mean, it's sad to see that place go.
And I used to love that place. I don't know if you guys ever went to the drive-in.
I've never been to a drive-in.
You never been to a drive-in? Oh man, it's so much fun. It was so.
I would love to.
It was so great.
Get some In-N-Out before the movie, and then just chill in the car, watch 2-3 movies.
I used to go to a brewery right before, and then I used to get a growler full of beer, and then I would go to In-N-Out, go pick up some food, or go get like some mean burritos or anything else. Go, and then you get like what was it? And then you turn. I brought like a little radio, so that way we could tune in. I could turn off my car, and then we would take like what was it, like lawn chairs, and we would just relax, chill out, watch the movie, eat our food. It was a good time. It's a good time.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Not only that, but also it's very communal. So like you can hear people all around you reacting to it. Everybody's having their own like little parties all around you. It's nice.
Yeah.
There's a couple having sex next to you. It's interesting.
Probably.
Yeah. Like
Getting handy or something,
there's always like a car that's all fogged. It's
There's a lot of gentleman clubs in that area too.
There's a lot
Like,
of gentleman clubs in that
lot.
area too. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, so that's interesting. I'm interested to see where that goes.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that it is a lot of money.
How far can they stretch it?
Well, my thing is that also I'm wondering when they say concession, what does that mean? Like, because the concession
Snacks,
well,
food,
because
who knows?
AMC has done a really good job on trying to upgrade their food.
Yeah.
Still not the greatest.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it's a solid hot dog.
It's a solid hot
Yeah,
dog.
they have a solid hot dog, but
Can't
when it
beat a
comes
hot
to
dog.
like, I think you had the sliders. They were
okay. Yeah.
Those pretzel bites that we
they
got
good?
when to go watch Beetlejuice.
Oh, were they good?
They were bad.
No, were they dry?
They weren't even dry. They just did not taste.
He
good.
offered them to me, and I went no.
And I did tell him just
said
in
no.
advance they don't taste good.
And then I looked at Monica, and I was like, "Do you want a dry pretzel?" She goes, "No, I'm good." And I'm like,
They weren't dry. They were like a good warm pretzel. Just
Yeah.
the flavor was gross.
Okay.
I put this in here for you. So Magic the Gathering is coming out with a brand new set. It's Chucky, the
yeah,
killer
a
doll.
secret layer Chucky.
Yeah, so
They had a secret layer Ghostbusters Slimer themed
Yeah.
one, which
Oh,
was
so they-
really cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be interesting. I do like when they start adding more and more of this stuff in. Netflix came out with a bunch of news.
Netflix.
Netflix,
Oh.
that too. It's not. We're not in X place. Okay, we're not going there again.
Okay.
So Netflix confirms that there will be a brand new cyberpunk animated TV show that is coming out, and they're working with Project Red for it.
Fun.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
We have no idea what it's about. It's just that that's going to happen.
New story.
New story. They also said that they also revealed a first look at Chopper in the One Piece.
Oh, they already did?
They already showed.
Darn, I
they
haven't
showed,
seen it.
They showed. It was interesting because it was a table read of all of them, and they showed all the actors at the table read.
Yeah.
And then the main actor who plays Luffy goes, special introduction to a brand new member of the crew. And then you see the animated version of Chopper sitting in a chair, and it picks up the script. And you can see the hat, and you see everything. You can look it up. It's really interesting, the picture.
That's cute.
And then
That's
it
really
cuts,
cool.
and then it goes, Tony Chopper, season 2. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Along with that, they also announced that Lara Abuve is going to be playing Robin inside of it, and also Joe Manganiello will be playing this season's main villain, Crocodile.
Awesome.
Which also, to get Joe Manganiello and also a lot of really big name actors now, you can kind of tell how well Netflix did.
Yes.
In the same notion, a brand new a brand new contract and partnership has been established. Netflix has partnered up with Shonen Comics, with Shonen Jump.
Shonen Jump?
They have partnered with them, so we don't know what that means. It could just be that we're getting all the Jump stuff and taking it over to Netflix.
Crunchyroll, watch out.
Yeah.
But it also could mean that they got all of the They got all the rights to do the live actions.
I was gonna say we're gonna probably see a live action My Hero.
My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
You can have all of these like shonens start having live action things, and they're all going to be going to Netflix.
That's pretty cool.
So
Live action Dragon Ball.
live action Dragon Ball would be really sick.
One that's
Good
not
as
terrible?
well. Yeah.
One that
Yay.
not terrible, man.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
But I want Piccolo to look the same still.
No, Piccolo's.
James
No,
you want him
Piccolo's.
as James Marston?
Yeah. No, Piccolo was great. That's the thing. Yeah.
Arcane season 2
I was
is
like, okay,
which
what
has
is that?
already been, so Arcane, for anybody that doesn't know, is the League of Legends.
Yeah.
Was it the League of Legends
I
show?
still haven't seen season 1, but
Season
I know
1 is
of it.
really,
Yeah.
really
That's
good.
awesome.
They've already come out with They've already come out with their release dates. They said that it's going to be releasing in a 3-act structure. So it's going to be releasing November 9th is going to be the first 2 episodes, 16th, and then the 23rd to finish off the 3-arc structure. So they're going
Okay.
to give time in between each,
Cool.
which I'm interested in. I'm
Yeah,
definitely interested in. Devil May Cry is going to be out April 2025, and it's going to be the same studio that did Castlevania.
Cool.
Devil May Cry.
Yeah, I'm interested in that one. Devil May Cry has always been like a fave of mine.
Who's your favorite brother?
Oh, I've always liked Dante.
It's
Yeah,
Dante. It's
Dante.
Dante.
Yeah,
Dante.
Dante. Virgil was great, but Dante had that flair. That's the thing. Virgil was very uptight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft is going to be making an appearance October 10th. It's going to be an animated TV show.
Oh.
Yeah, Squid Games Chapter 2 has
Oh, that's what it's
already
called?
released. Yeah, so
Oh,
it's just Squid Games 2. I'm adding the chapter.
Oh, okay. I was
But
like,
it's called Squid Games 2.
Yeah.
It has a release date, and trailer just came out with a
Mm-hmm.
release date of December 26th. And the plot so far has been that they are kidnapping our the main character and
Mm-hmm.
bringing him back into the game. So I think, which also would be really interesting if they kind of did it like Hunger Games, where it's a winner's it's like a winner's.
you know what?
Yeah.
I wouldn't
That'd be
wouldn't
cool.
think past that. Yeah.
If they went against, if they went and collected all the
contest
other
of
winners,
champions.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
contest of champions, and they just kidnapped all the champions and
Yeah.
put them back in the game.
Escape Room 2.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, because he would
That is the
he would be
plot of Escape Room
dealing
2.
with who is it? It's not the game master. It's the front man, right?
Yeah, the front man.
Yeah, he'd be dealing with the front man this time because
So-
he already
Which-
took on the game master.
Yeah.
Do you think it could be the brother? Is it the brother of the cop?
Yes, it's the brother
Yeah,
of
they
the cop that is
confirmed
the,
that.
They
that is
did,
the game
okay.
master,
It's
and
been
then
so
the
long,
cop.
I
and they
forgot.
confirmed the cop is not dead.
Yeah, that he's alive.
Yes.
He jumped off the cliff, but he's still alive.
It's been so long.
Yeah,
Oh my
Migo.
God, yeah.
What was it? Also, Avatar news for Avatar Season 2. Migo Kesh is already cast in Avatar Season 2 as Toph Beifong.
Cool.
They already also released small footage of her in the release of her doing her movements, and it's just her feet, like kind of going through the dirt.
Yeah.
But you see that she's not wearing any shoes, and she has just like the tabs over her feet, and then it says Toph will be in the show and everything else. So that's pretty cool.
That trailer looks pretty good.
Yeah. Judd Apatow is set to direct a Coca-Cola, the Coca-Cola War movie.
Oh, the Cola Wars.
Yeah, Cola Wars
Yeah.
movie with Steven Spielberg set to produce.
You know what's funny is these movies that had to do with pop culture or just in any sort of like I don't know because they did that Pop-Tart movie on Netflix too.
Yeah, Pop-Tart was
Frosted?
I actually
Yeah.
really like Frosted. Frosted was good.
Was that good?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
really good. It's really funny.
Yeah.
It's
Didn't-
really, really funny.
Didn't they do another movie like that as well too?
What was it? It's the Nike one. It's Jordan.
Yeah, see, yeah,
Jordan.
Yeah, stuff that was influenced
Yeah.
through over the like decades and stuff like that. Or they're coming out with movies like that, which is
Yeah.
interesting. That they're doing.
Splinter Cell will be getting a brand new TV show called The Death Wish, and Liev Schreiber will be playing Sam Fisher.
Oh,
So I think that's going to be an interesting one.
that's an interesting
Splin-
casting choice.
Splinter Cell is an interesting one. I like Splinter Cell, but we haven't had a whole lot about it recently. Lorenzo Bonaventura, the producer of the Transformers movies, has already confirmed that the next live-action Transformers movie will be a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover. He has already said
finally.
that is going to be
Finally.
The next movie.
So are we doing a G.I. Joe movie, or are we just going straight into it?
They said it's just going to be a straight crossover.
Interesting.
Cool.
So they're not going to be introducing the Joes. They're not going
Yeah.
to be doing anything else. They said it's just going to be straight G.I. Joe, which I'm kind of okay with because you
Yeah.
can kind of do that.
Are we gonna get the G.I. Joe team in it, or are we just they're involved with the?
You know what I
Joes?
wouldn't? You know what I really wouldn't mind if you say Sector 13 or Section 6 is GI Joe. It's another.
Okay.
It's a subsidy
Yeah.
of GI Joe, and then you just bring a couple of people back from the previous movies.
I feel like you need to put at least Duke in it.
Oh, you have to put Duke. in
Yeah.
it.
I feel like Duke.
you have to have Duke.
You have to have Duke, and then
Snake
later on the
Eyes.
line. Yeah.
But the fact that they're already saying this is what it is, like this is
Yeah.
like we're
Cool.
not going anywhere else. This is
Yeah.
where it is.
Okay, I'm fine with
Set in
that.
stone.
Cool.
And the last thing that Brian wanted me to put in, 28 years later, was filmed on an iPhone 15
With few attachments.
with a few attachments.
With a few attachments.
I don't care.
There's the one caveat.
I don't.
I
I,
mean,
I haven't seen the movie yet. I can't.
That's the thing.
I can't say.
And I haven't
it
seen a
looked good.
trailer.
Yeah.
I think.
Give me a
think-
trailer first.
I feel like that news could have been told after the trailer came out.
I see,
Yeah.
and then I would have been like, "Whoa, that's pretty sick."
Yeah.
But the fact that they're just like, "Oh, it's been filmed with a iPhone 15 Pro," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." It could look like dog water for all I know.
Yeah.
Right? It could look like three
This could be
things
a
under.
really bad movie.
Yeah,
It's really poorly filmed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just like, "Oh, yeah, it was filmed with an iPhone." You're like, "Okay." Sure.
Yeah,
Why
that's.
not?
I mean, that's like exactly what Sony did with Venom 3, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, the new baddie, the
Null.
villain is Null,
It's no.
the symbiote god.
Yeah, and you're like, oh,
Cool.
okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
great. Did
Thanks.
you really need to tell us that? I was going to see the movie regardless.
Yeah,
like,
I was already in.
Yeah.
Stop trying to sell.
yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much that.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I had was Elon Musk's Starlink is blocking astronomers from viewing space.
Yeah, so he's
The
basically-
radio waves are
Evil.
He's basically a supervillain.
He's a
Yeah.
supervillain.
Yeah.
We've already acknowledged.
He's
it.
Mr. Burns.
Yeah, his cars are exploding.
Yeah.
He trapped astronauts in space,
Yeah.
and now we can't even look at space.
He even
He's
No.
he's a
even
Bond
shoot
villain.
a shot with
He's
Taylor
a,
Swift.
he's a Bond villain.
Did you
He
see
did?
that tweet he
He
made
did.
about
What?
Taylor Swift?
No, what?
He said he would want to put a baby in her. Is that what he said?
He was just shooting a shot at Taylor
Yeah.
Swift. And
What?
it was
Yeah.
like
he tweeted
wow.
at her.
Like what? Like she was gonna be the other pop star that he impregnates?
Yes.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is disgusting.
I know.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
And a lot of people are saying like, that's really creepy to say, and I'm like, yeah, isn't she also still with Travis Kelce as well? Too?
I don't know, but I'm not a Taylor Swift fan or
Yeah.
anything like that.
No.
But even I'm like, that's gross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is,
Like,
'cause he's like what? How old?
It
is
doesn't
he?
matter how old.
No, but he's old.
He's a spaz.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can only add so much. You can only attribute
Yeah.
so much to his tisms.
Yeah,
you can
that's the
only
thing.
like he's an eccentric.
Yeah.
No,
No.
No.
he's a Bond villain.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
he is. He's just
He
a
is.
Bond villain.
Big time.
Your money can't get you everything.
Yeah,
man.
money. That's it for comic strips. I wanted to. There were so many other things that we had to talk about and
yeah.
everything else. The first thing that I wanted to talk about, because it was kind of meh. I mean, it's interesting, but I was like, okay, cool. Is Agatha All Along? Did you get a chance to watch it?
No.
Okay,
figured.
yeah, you're not missing a lot.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay. Overall, the first two episodes, great setup.
It's a good setup.
It's a good setup, but compared to the first episode, because we just watched it today, first episode of Penguin had a lot more,
Whew, man.
like stuff that it was showing you and
Yeah.
telling you and setting up a lot more stuff.
You-
It set up 5 different things.
You know what was really interesting though?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even if I didn't watch the Batman,
Yeah.
I could have figured out what this show was
Yeah.
about.
That's
Because
the thing.
the first 10 to 15 minutes of the Penguin.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's just get into it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
those are the two shows that we had watched.
Yeah.
And it's a good compare and contrast
Yeah.
of the two, because I feel that Agatha All Along had an hour and 45 minutes
Mm-hmm.
because both episodes were about 45 minutes apiece.
Okay.
Penguin had an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It was an hour and 6 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I get it. People are gonna say it's because you're a Batman fan. That's why you were more intrigued, like you were more invested. But I felt that with Agatha All Along, there was so much baggage that came with it.
Yeah.
Because you needed to watch WandaVision to know
Okay.
what was going on.
True.
You
You
needed to watch
Multiverse of
Multiverse of
Madness.
Madness. You needed to kind of know that Wanda went bad.
Yeah.
You needed to know what happened with Monica, with what was it, with everything else, and you're just kind of going like, okay.
Yeah.
And you're so exhausted by the end of it, and which was also kind of lame too, because we were talking about it on the walk. Was she has a guy who's with her,
Yeah.
same way that, which is weird because it's the same thing in Penguin. There's a kid that's joining the main character
Huh.
Yeah.
that's like along for the
That's
ride.
their sidekick. Yeah.
That's like their sidekick. But the thing is that in Agatha, they're not telling you who this person is. And every single time he tries to tell Agatha about his backstory and who he is, all you hear is
Yeah, his
like
mouth starts like
it's
melting.
moving. Yeah,
Yeah.
It either is blocked or like just silence comes out, and like everything else she can hear, and she's
Yeah.
like, and she's very intrigued, and she keeps him around
Yeah.
because she can't figure out anything about him.
Yeah.
The only problem is that 3 weeks ago, Marvel said, "Oh, it's Wiccan.
Yeah.
It's Wanda's son,"
Yeah, we're gonna have Wicked on the show. Yeah.
and they showed who it was.
Yeah, and that's the actor.
And that's the actor.
Yeah.
So why did they ruin the surprise so
That's-
soon?
That's what I mean,
I
though,
don't
is
know.
that why would you do
Yeah,
that?
That's the thing. And like on IMDb, he's credited as Wicked.
Wiccan.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things of like, oh, it's such an interesting MacGuffin of going like, oh, I wonder who he is. And then you were going to have this cool reveal.
Yeah.
But then I feel like they kind of felt the lukewarmness of the show, and they were like, Wiccan's in the show, and then like they were like, oh, okay, cool, I'm down to watch it. But then they were like, oh wait, we made that a mystery in the show of who he is, and we're probably not going to reveal that until like episode 5 or 6.
How long is this show gonna run for?
I think it's like 7. It's probably like 8.
6 episodes.
6 episodes.
So
6 or 5 episodes. Yeah.
So that means that we were probably going to release it like down the line, but we just spoiled it immediately. I'm not going to lie. Aubrey Plaza really does kind of steal the show.
It's Aubrey Plaza.
I in general, I was very interested when she was on. Not all that interested when everybody else was on. I was like, okay, cool. Oh, Aubrey Plaza's here. Oh, she's doing a lot. She's doing like she's like an evil witch, like an evil witch assassin that's here to kill Agatha, and then Agatha kind of convinces her, going like, come on, you don't want to kill me here. You want to kill me at my best.
So really quick, Agatha has a solid 79% on Rotten Tomatoes for both its critics and audience.
And once again,
Nice.
like I said, not bad. It's an interesting setup. It's an interesting show. I'm enjoying it. I want to see the next 4 episodes.
Penguin has a 94% on critics reviews, but an 88% on audience scores, which is interesting.
But that's
I feel like that's
that's also still not off. Here was my thing for the Penguin though. I really enjoyed Penguin because, like I always say, a Batman show or a Batman movie is a great thing when it's alone. Like alone, it's really good. Like we made a script and then we put Batman into it. You don't need to write all these characters with all these complexities and everything else. All we did is we wrote a mob show. We wrote The Sopranos and we put it in the Batman universe. That's what we did.
And I noticed that people were saying that's like the general criticism within the audience is that it's just Sopranos. And I'm like, okay, but is Sopranos still on?
The Sopranos are good.
But
Sopranos is a good show.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but is Sopranos still on? No, it's over now. So now we get another show like it. Same thing with it. It feels like a lot of taking aspects from Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Godfather, Goodfellas, and stuff like that.
It's very much taking from the best.
Yes.
It's taking from the best, and it's using it in a way where you're like, okay, I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah.
I know that some people, because I was reading some of the reviews, people were upset because they didn't show Batman. And they didn't hint at Batman or anything like that.
They said the Batman.
Yeah, they mentioned the Batman. My thing was that because we were talking about it in the show when we were watching it here, it makes sense that Batman isn't dealing with the Penguin.
Yeah,
it makes sense. Of the Riddler just destroyed. He just destroyed the dam. Gotham is pretty much flooded. Gangs are having gang wars all over the city. Yeah. And there's just violent crime is incredibly up.
Yeah.
Batman's busy.
He's doing other things than worrying about what Penguin is doing.
Yeah, Penguin is all the way at the
limp.
Yeah, and also I really do like that idea too, because when Batman first met him, he was a henchman. Why would I worry about what a henchman is doing?
Yeah. I already took care of him.
He's not a player. Now he's building his way up as he's distracted with whatever's going on in Gotham to then go, oh man, he became a player while I was dealing with everything else. And that's really interesting because they already established that the show is going to be, when it ends, the Batman 2 is going to pick up. And it's going to be in the winter.
Yeah. And that's something that necessarily Marvel doesn't do. They'll do that, but they'll be like, "Oh, that happened months ago." In the next installment of the projects that are connected.
Yeah.
No, that's what I like about what Matt Reeves is doing with his Batman universe is that it's literally right after.
I feel like Matt Reeves also did a really good job world building in the Batman.
Yeah.
So now it's just really fun to play with characters in the world. Yeah. We're just going to see how people are kind of going through everything else in their daily lives.
And that's super interesting, too, because you want to see how the world is going. You want to see Gotham progress or even decline. You want to see that from the events from the previous movie. And it makes it that's why the Penguin show is so interesting.
It is. And and you can also see how Cobblepot really is manipulating everybody. He's really playing. He's playing everybody. He's playing everybody against each other. Yeah. He's really setting up for a mob war against the Falcones and the Maronis, and it's very interesting because he already knows their mortal enemies.
Yeah.
So all I need to do is just a little push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little
Send
push,
them in
and
that
they'll go back.
direction.
And they'll go back to war.
It's showcasing the best parts of what is it, the show Gotham with Penguin in it, because that was him and Riddler. They were the two fan favorites in that whole thing. Everyone wanted to watch that show and see what Cobblepot and what Enigma are doing.
Yeah.
You know, so and it's showing that in here as well too. He's not the strongest. He's not even the bravest as well too. He's very much a very, you know, I'm playing chess kind of in a way. I'm secretly playing chess while everyone's playing checkers.
Yeah, and I do like that he's, instead of the traditional rendition of the Penguin, where he's also a millionaire, where he's also a billionaire, and it's kind of, which is also
Parents are wealthy.
His parents are wealthy
Yeah.
because it's supposed to be
that.
it's supposed to be the dichotomy of Batman, of like, if Batman wanted to be an arms dealer, this is what would have happened to him if he didn't care about his parents dying and getting his wealth. Whereas Penguin he murdered his parents to get his wealth, to get their wealth, which is also weird because that's also Hush's backstory too.
Yeah,
in a way.
Well,
the
four main pillars that created or that sustained Gotham of like rich families is the Waynes, the Elliots, the Cobblepots, and the Arkhams.
Yes, those are the four
pillars that create or helped build Gotham.
Which is interesting because in this one it looks like Cobblepot is more of a humble.
Yeah,
it's a lot more humble. But also it could be revealed that they lost their money a long time ago, and
long time ago.
And they did start in Gotham, and they squandered their fortune, and then they're starting over, and that's also another motivation of Cobblepot of like, I'm trying to get back on top.
Yeah,
I'm trying to become a name in Gotham again.
Yeah,
which would be interesting.
No, definitely
on both. I'm interested in seeing both.
Yeah. I want to see, because you know what's funny is that Agatha took 2 episodes to finally get you invested, while Penguin just took 1 episode, and you're like, I'm in. And stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Agatha, I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna be, you know, very much like, oh yeah, Wednesday night I gotta watch the next episode of Agatha.
But once again, I do feel, like I said, Matt Reeves did a really good job on world building, where he didn't have to spend in the Penguin show. He didn't have to spend a lot of time.
Yeah, he didn't have to spend 1 episode setting up the rest of the season.
Yeah, whereas Agatha needed to do that.
Yeah,
because they're talking about the Witch's Road.
Yeah,
I'll binge Agatha when it's out.
Yeah,
but I will do the week to week.
Yeah,
for Penguin.
Yeah.
Honestly,
definitely.
I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah,
because
that makes sense.
That makes total sense. Yeah. And which, honestly, if this is kind of a view, like a little peek into what James Gunn and them are planning on doing for DC television and everything else, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in, because this is really, really good. Because this is one of the first things that is coming out with James Gunn as producer, isn't it?
Yes.
As an executive producer.
Okay.
Because this started in production right when James Gunn got the role.
Yeah, because it was didn't they have to pause for this because of COVID? They
had to pause.
No.
The
writer's strike. That's what
it was. The writer's strike. Yeah. The one that had to pause because of COVID was the Batman.
The Batman. That's right. Yeah.
That's what that was.
That's right. Yes.
But for this one, when it was being written, James Gunn got the job.
Yeah.
And then he oversaw, because I think they started over. Mm-hmm. I think there was a plan that was there, and then when James Gunn came in, he was like, okay, and then he reformatted a couple of things.
Yeah, I think what it was is that he wanted to see what Matt Reeves was wanting to do, because James Gunn was taking over, so he had an idea for Batman, and he wanted to see what Matt Reeves had an idea for Batman as well. What he's moving forward with the Batman, and I think that's why he kept it separate.
I think he was also waiting for his pitch.
Yeah,
because going like, do I scrap or do I not?
Yeah.
Do I keep this going?
Yeah.
In the new world and make it Elseworlds?
I think that's what I love about James Gunn, is that even when he took over, he could have easily been like, yeah, we're not moving forward with the Batman. He could have easily done that. And it would have been easy for him to explain, like, yeah, the Batman movie is a separate thing. I don't need to do it, you know. So we're not moving forward with that because I don't need that Batman. I'm gonna do a different Batman. No, he's like, no, the fans loved it. It was a commercial success. Everyone wants to see moving forward what this Batman or Robert Pattinson could do with another movie. Well, I'll keep it, but it's not my universe's Batman.
It's Elseworlds.
Yeah.
and maybe someday we'll put it. Well, we can tie it in maybe someday, but not right now.
I think it'll be cool if he does like a live action Crisis.
Ooh.
You know?
I would love a live action Crisis,
Yeah.
and then bring everybody.
Yeah.
Like bring in Stephen Amell, bring in
Nicolas
Tom
Cage.
Welling.
Yeah, that's the thing. What if
bring in Nick Cage.
What if Crisis ends up being better than Secret Wars? Like
Ooh,
maybe that's why he's
plot
waiting.
twist.
He's waiting for
Imagine.
Secret Wars, and he's like, let's see what they do with the multiverse.
and then go Crisis.
Yeah, exactly. Bam! I already did New Gods. Now we're gonna do Crisis.
I would be I would be into it. I would be into it.
Same.
I personally, I feel like Crisis is a better story.
It is.
I feel like Crisis is a better story.
It's
in
more.
general.
Crisis is more. How would I? It's more not sad, but it's more. You're worried in the whole thing.
You get hit a lot.
Yeah,
like
'cause
you
they're
get
killing characters from left to
yeah,
right.
and they do not care.
No.
like they're just like, oh, you love this character? Bang, he's
Yeah,
dead. Like
he's
bang, they're
dead.
dead.
Yeah.
Bang, he's dead.
Oh,
Bang, he's
erased
dead.
from existence. And stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah, the erased from existence is the worst. Especially when you come to like the Flash and all
Oh
these
my
other
God,
characters,
yeah.
where like they're running and they're just. Then
If you guys want to know what we're talking about, go ahead and watch Crisis on Infinite Earths on Max. They have part 1 and part 2 on there.
so
Yeah.
so far up. Also, I do feel like was it the CW they did an interesting version with what they had.
They did a good. That's
With
funny.
how-
No, I just thought of what Stephen Amell said about the earlier last week when he's talked about his Arrowverse being superior, being the superior DC universe, and I'm just like,
You know what? I agree with him in a way.
Yeah.
If you compare his Arrowverse to the Snyder films,
yes.
I do think that Arrowverse did a better job.
I will say this: seasons 1 and 2 of Arrow, phenomenal, really
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Great story, great build up, and it was a great little end of season 2 as
He's
well.
edgy.
Too. Yes,
It's a Batman show without Batman.
that's
Yeah.
the thing, and I think he noticed that now. It's like he could have done a different direction with Green Arrow, but they wanted to do it that way and stuff.
Yeah.
But and then Flash had a good season 1 and season 2, but then it's weird. All the CW shows, when they go past season 2, they lose touch of itself.
the problem is that they peak.
Yeah.
They peak at season 2,
Yeah.
and then they're like, where do we go? Because
What about for Legends?
Legends season 1 and 2 are really good. 3 is kind of meh. 4 is
That
is really
crossover
good.
episode though that they did for season, what was it?
Which
in
one?
season 3?
For World
the
X.
2-part. Yes.
For me, Legends died down when they killed off Rip Hunter.
Oh,
Isn't that
okay.
season
Is it-
2 or 3?
Yeah, I think it's 2. I think.
In all fairness, Rip he's so good in that show.
good-
But also, how you get somebody from Doctor Who, obviously.
Yeah, Rory.
Yeah, why not just get
Yeah.
like, oh, I wonder how we do this. Oh, let's go get people from Doctor Who because
Yeah, time
it's basically the
traveling,
well, because they got that one, and then they also
Wibbly
have
wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
well, because then they also had what's his name? He was also he was the villain in Arrow for the first season.
Oh, John Barrowman.
John Barrowman, because he was also in Doctor Who as well.
Yes.
as one
Captain
of the,
Jack.
as Captain Jack.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
They literally just went
Yes.
to what was it, to Doctor Who, and they were just like, let me take you, and let me take you, and I'll take this one too.
Oh, you're done with Doctor Who? Okay, come
Yeah,
over.
why don't you come over? Why don't you come over and have some fun?
Yeah.
In our multiversal time
feel
period show.
I feel like the casting directors were like, as soon as they got done watching the show, be like, we should get that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like someone binged Prison Break,
Yeah.
and it was like, they could be good villains.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Flash, you know?
they would be great villains. Why don't we make them Captain Cold and Heatwave?
I love that. That was great.
And I love how they promoted it too, where they were just like, "Have you seen Prison Break?
Yeah, you guys
Did you
remember
like
Prison
it?
Break?
Well, then you're gonna love the Flash."
Right?
But I do understand Stephen Amell's thing. He got more time.
Yeah.
I didn't, and that's something that like Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, all of them, you don't get a lot of time with their characters, and they're just kind of meh.
Yeah.
And they never really hit their peak. Whereas I do feel like Stephen Amell's Arrow hit a peak. He was great. There was Grant Gustin's Flash. There's a moment there where you're like, that's the Flash.
Yeah.
Like that is the Flash. That is Green Arrow. That is Rip Hunter. That's
Why didn't they ever get them for the movies though? I just don't see why they couldn't have got them for the movies.
So the weird thing at Warner, and this is going completely off topic. We'll get back on.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah,
gotta
forget
end
this
this. We gotta end it pretty quick.
Yeah.
The thing was in Warner, what they thought was the audience is too stupid, and if we combine them, then they won't be able to tell the difference. That's the reason why. Well, because that's the reason why they were like, okay, so Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Those characters can't be touched.
Yeah.
Those are movie characters.
Yeah.
All the other ones, you can do whatever you want with it. That's why in Smallville, he never puts on the spandex. He never puts on the blue and red.
Yeah, we never actually see him with the costume on.
Yeah. What was it? That's because originally in Smallville, Green Arrow is supposed to be Batman. That's supposed to be Batman.
Yeah, again, the Green Arrow on the Smallville, he was
supposed to be Batman. And then they were like, cool, we're gonna put Batman in this show, and he's gonna have like an arc, and he's gonna try and date Lois Lane, and we're gonna do all these other things, the same thing that Green Arrow does, and then we're gonna make it that Batman and Superman are best friends, and like it's kind of like the alter side of Clark and Superman. I mean, Clark and Lex with Clark and Bruce.
Yeah.
But then they were like, wait. Batman's a movie character.
Yeah.
If you put him in this, people are going to get confused. You can't do that because you're going to put him in the suit. So you can't do that.
Yeah.
So they scrapped it, and then they were like, oh, yeah, so who do we use now? Well, Green Arrow is pretty much the same thing.
I hate that so much.
And that's essentially what they did. They were like, Green Arrow is basically the same thing. Yeah. He's just happier. But then they were like, no, we need somebody who's gloomy, so let's just make him sad. So every single time that he's in like a TV show or anything like that, Green Arrow is always really sad. Yeah. And he's never like to the full point, like
wisecracking.
Because that's what I want. That is what I really want. Because even Grant Gustin's The Flash was a lot more Wally than he was Barry.
Yeah.
True. He's a lot more Wally. Yeah. He had a nice little sprinkle of all the speedsters, but he was more Wally than he was Barry. But it was still good.
Yeah.
We're running out of time, so I do want to hit Transformers.
Yeah. So to close out the DC talk, Penguin is a superior as of shows that got released this week. Penguin was better than Agatha all along.
Premieres.
But we're still going to continue watching Agatha. We'll probably talk about it more when the season's done. And
Penguin could be a week to week.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really enjoying Penguin, and I'm really interested in seeing how this continues.
Yeah,
and everything else. Transformers 1 came out.
We saw it last night upon recording.
For anybody who hasn't seen anything about the Transformers animated movie that came out, it is a prequel. Well, I mean, not even a prequel. It's an origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron and the beginning of the Autobots and the Decepticons. Yeah. That's essentially what the movie is about.
Beginning of the war.
Yeah,
the Civil War.
It's the beginning of the Civil War between the Autobots and the Decepticons, which was really great. I really enjoyed it. I thought that Chris Hemsworth did a great job as Optimus Prime.
Yeah, totally.
For somebody for a character who has only been played by one person.
Yes.
By Peter Cullen for the last 20 years. Yeah. No, not even. I think the last 40 because he started doing it in 1980.
It was a good casting choice because you have to choose an actor that has that Peter Cullen kind of like that vibe. Yeah. But also just being a younger version of that character as well too.
I thought it was interesting, the idea of making them all minors instead of giving them their original jobs, because Optimus is supposed to be a librarian, Megatron is a
gladiator.
He's a gladiator. Starscream is a scientist. Because I did think that was a little weird when they introduced Starscream in this movie. Yeah, and he was still a coward, and he was supposed to be like a member of the Royal Guard, and he was still a coward, and I was like, those two don't mix. Those don't mix.
And of all people to voice Starscream, you get Steve Buscemi.
Yeah,
that was pretty good too.
Like,
honestly, when I heard, I didn't even know Steve Buscemi was in the movie, and then when I heard his voice, I was like, "Is that Steve Buscemi?" I'm like, "What? Okay, sure."
I think I turned to him and I'm like, "Is that Steve Buscemi?"
And then what is it? Sentinel Prime. I was really interested how they're going to portray Sentinel Prime in here, which they did the same thing where he's a traitor and stuff. But the whole time I'm listening to him, I'm like, who is that? I'm like, that sounds so familiar. It sounds like an asshole. but who is it? And then
Sounds like a John Hamm type.
And I was like, I was thinking that too. I was like, John Hamm? No, he wouldn't do this. And then the credits ran. It's John Hamm. I'm like, it was John Hamm.
It was John Hamm. Oh man, it was John Hamm.
Yeah.
I couldn't put my finger on it.
I couldn't.
Was.
Honestly, he modulated his
forgot.
voice enough.
He did, yeah.
And I think they tweaked it inside of in the booth as well. It didn't sound like John Hamm. It sounded a little different, and I'm okay with that. I do think that Keegan did a really great job as B.
Totally.
He does a great job. I know some.
Megatron.
I thought it was interesting because they used Megatron's original voice for that
he's saying
for
that
modulation.
Yeah.
It was Megatron's. It's Megatron's original voice actor, which I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Big
That's
time.
fun.
You got the touch. You got the power reference.
Atron.
Atron.
Atron. Yeah.
I love that little Easter egg, honestly.
There were
that
some
they
good
put
Easter
that
eggs in there.
That's the thing.
There is some great Easter eggs. There's great comedy in it. Who plays Megatron? I forget his name.
Oh, you know what? I have to look.
From Atlanta.
He was
and stuff.
he was from Atlanta. He was also in he was in Bullet Train. He played Lemon.
Yes, Lemon.
Oh, yeah.
Which he's the same guy that plays
Monarch
Lemon.
or
he
the
was in-
Godzilla versus Kong.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have a really great chemistry.
Big time.
Like when they did the whole chemistry reading for the two of them.
Brian Tree Henry.
Brian Tree Henry.
Yeah, Brian Tree Henry.
So Brian Tree Henry and Chris Hemsworth have a great chemistry together. I care by the time that you get to the ending and they have become Optimus Prime and Megatron. I do like the
It was emotional.
It was very emotional. And I do like the idea, if you are not a Transformers fan, or if you were a kid and then you were to go, this is this is what was it? Like, this is an Optimus Prime, and then this is D16, his best friend. If I was a small child and I did not know who these characters were, I think that would be a huge reveal for me of going like, he's Megatron.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't know, and I was a kid who this is marketed towards, that's the demographic that this movie is towards. I think that would be a great reveal of going like, oh my god, like that's his greatest villain. And because all the kids have watched all the TV shows, they've done everything else, and they used a 1980s version of the two of them where they both look,
Which is really cool.
yeah,
that
where
they did that.
they kind of did like their classic looks,
Yeah.
but they toned them down a little bit.
Slimmer, shorter,
And
not
they-
as bulky.
Yeah, and they did a really great job of kind of making them look different, but also making them look the same, so that way you knew who was who.
Yeah.
It's good. I thought there was a lot of love in this movie.
Yeah.
I love the GoBots reference.
The GoBots.
That was.
There's so, but that's what I mean though. There's so much love in this movie of just
totally, yeah.
you can tell everybody that worked on this movie loves the Transformers, and the main thing was they just wanted to tell a really good Transformers story, because this could have been a cash grab.
It could have been.
I thought it was.
That's
thought it
what
was
I
gonna be.
originally
Yeah,
thought
same.
it was.
Yeah, I was
oh,
like, this is just
man.
an animated movie, so they can just keep the rights and stuff like that. But no, it was actually really good. Very compelling story. I liked the relationship right away between Megatron and Optimus and stuff, and it was very very fresh, a breath of fresh air. You know, even for this was one of the better Michael Bay movies. I mean, there was better Transformers movies that was attached with Michael Bay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once again, producer.
Yeah, he was only a producer.
He was just a producer.
He just threw money at it and be like, "Go ahead, do what you want.
Do what you want to do."
Yeah.
And then maybe they checked in with him a couple of times,
Yeah.
but he didn't have any direct contact with it,
Yeah.
because then it would have been crazy. I do like the idea of them kind of taking the Cain and Abel storyline
Yeah.
and reworking it so that to put it into, okay, cool, we're going to use the Cain and Abel story and we're just going to put Optimus Prime and Megatron, where it's two brothers, one. And it's interesting, the idea of Optimus is kind of like the younger, bright-eyed, hopeful, and Megatron is the more serious protector of Optimus, where he always defends Optimus. He's always there to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then eventually he's not.
Yeah.
And and you can see that turn start to happen, and the turn made sense too.
It did, yes.
Very
I
well
like
done.
that. Yeah.
Very believable.
Because you could have just went, and then he becomes Megatron.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That cog was tampered with.
Yeah,
This
like-
is why he's evil now.
Yeah, like, and I do like that they gave him a motivation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh yeah, his cog was tampered with, or oh, the spark that he got had, it's evil
So, yeah.
in a way, because that's a very easy story beat that they could have done.
Yeah.
To make
Definitely.
Megatron evil, and then you could have had Optimus fighting him and going like, it's not you, it's the spark, it's the cog that's inside. Let's take it out.
Yeah.
And then we can fix you, and then and you could have done that. But I do like the idea of Megatron is so stuck on the rules, and he's such a believer in the leadership that once he gets betrayed, there is no going back to just following someone.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm never gonna follow anybody again. It was a really cool scene. I did like him and Sentinel Prime's interactions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where after Megatron finds out what Sentinel Prime is doing, where they're all bowing to Sentinel Prime, and he
Yeah.
just keeps getting up. And he just keeps getting up, and he keeps getting up, and he's like, I will never bow to you. I was like, that's so
Yeah.
cool. Like, oh my God. Like,
Brands him
yeah, then he
so crudely.
yeah, he crudely brands the Decepticon like logo on his chest, and I was like, that's genius.
Yeah.
That's so smart of going, how do we get the Decepticon logo? And it's because it's Megatronus Prime.
Yeah.
It's his face.
Yeah.
And he really in that Prime inspired him. And that's what the logo is, because I've always wondered what that logo is. It's
Yeah.
not Megatron. Whereas the Autobots, it's Optimus. Like, you can clearly see, oh, that's Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And everything else. So I really enjoyed that.
No, same. I really liked towards the end where we basically get to see like their not final form, but like the form that they've been known to have and stuff like that when they get the all sparks. Or the what is it? Is it the spark or is it the energon? What is it? The
Cogs.
The
transform.
the prime. Which the prime ones?
Oh, you mean it's the spark, that one was the spark of leadership.
Yeah.
And what was it?
Megatron got.
And Megatron got a cog. Like,
Yeah.
he got the transformation cog.
Yeah.
Because in this one, which I thought was an interesting idea, the idea that Sentinel Prime took over. He took over Cybertron, and he decided classes. Like, he made that instead of everybody being the same, he decided there was an upper class and there was a lower class. And the lower class the lower class Cybertronians are in the mines.
Yeah, they get their sparks taken.
Yeah, they get their not their sparks, their cogs.
Oh, their
Because
cogs,
their sparks is kind of like their heart.
Oh, okay.
The life force.
Yeah, like their life force, and then the cogs is what helps them transform.
Oh, okay.
And it gives them the ability to like make weapons and actually get to their full potential.
Okay.
And I thought that was really interesting. It was a nice little like thing where you're kind of going like, I wonder why they're just like low level bots.
Yeah.
And they can't transform, they can't do anything else. And I thought that was an interesting little thing, because otherwise you just have Autobots fighting. Cybertronians fighting Cybertronians. Well, he could turn into a car, and she could turn into a car. How is that a problem? Whereas they can't transform and the others can. It's a great issue for the characters to have to face. Overall, I loved this movie. I thought it was so much fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. If they come out with a sequel, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm down to watch it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to see this movie or this if it become a series moving forward.
Yeah.
I would love to see Chris Hemsworth being the new Optimus Prime moving forward.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
I would not mind that. I wouldn't mind seeing. I also wouldn't mind them developing a TV show with these
that'd be cool.
characters.
I could see a TV show maybe coming from
Probably
this.
on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
I can see a TV show developing from these characters, and I think that would be really interesting, especially if you went like Beast Wars kind of TV show. Like, not Beast Wars, but I mean like the seriousness of Beast Wars. The fact that if you go to, we're gonna do another Transformers show, but we're gonna make it as serious as it was in the 80s or in the mid 2000s and the early.
It's the Matrix. That's what they're looking for.
The Matrix of
the
Leadership.
Matrix of Leadership.
Matrix of Leadership.
Because you said Beast Wars, and my favorite thing that Optimus Primal says is "By the
Matrix.
And
That's
I was
right.
like,
By the
Matrix?
Matrix. Yeah, that's
by
right.
the
It is the
Matrix.
Matrix of
Well,
leadership.
that's just prime.
Prime.
I love Beast Wars. That's
not-
Right on.
that's my first introduction to Transformers.
I'm not gonna lie, it is mine too. It's
Yeah,
mine too.
but,
I don't.
Beast Wars.
Was yours also?
No, it was the OG ones.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, my dad was a massive Transformer fan.
I think I think 4Kids TV used to have both.
Yeah.
Or no, it was Fox Kids.
Fox Kids.
They used to show the original cartoon, and then they would show Beast Wars, the like CG version of it.
Yeah.
I remember they did Transformers. What was it? It was Transformers something where it's like they put on like the little bots and they unlock the little
Minicons.
Yeah,
Transformers
Minicons.
Armada.
Yeah.
Dude, that one was
Transformers
so
Armada, that's what it
awesome.
was.
That was on Cartoon
Yeah,
Network.
that was on Cartoon Network. I remember that.
Yes.
And then they did a really cool one, which is Transformers Prime, and that was like 5 years ago.
Oh, Prime Transformers.
Yeah, Transformers. That was like more CGI.
Oh, that was more. That was.
Yeah.
That
That
was
was computer animated. Yeah.
actually, you know what? I really
More
liked that one.
cartoony kind
Yeah.
of
Transformers
3D
Prime
animation.
was actually really
It
good.
was
Yes, it was.
because that was going into the early days of the war.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
where it takes place.
Was
It's
that the one that was on Jetix?
I think it
or-
was.
Yeah, I think it was
Okay.
Gen X.
and
Okay.
but it takes place in between the war, like in like the beginning of the war,
Mhm.
and it's you see the recruitment of some of the major Autobots.
Did you like Beast Machines? The sequel to Beast Wars?
I did not.
No,
I did not.
I
Oh,
did. It got confusing.
It did.
I
I think
think
for a kid.
I think
me.
because as a kid I did not know what I was watching.
Yeah.
I was very confused,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know what
Well,
this
they
is.
had
It was
like
dark.
they had like the 3 core members, and then they had Arachnid, and
and
then
I think they also changed the animation style, which was
They
also
did.
really
Yeah.
weird
they
too.
did. Yeah.
So, yeah, I do remember that, and they because that also goes into when they changed their designs
Mm-hmm.
because
They're
they
back on Cybertron.
because they're back on Cybertron and they changed their designs and they're no longer like beasts, but they're like a weird mixture between beast and machine.
Yeah,
They-
be organic. Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
organic
There
and
you go.
mech. And it was really interesting because they had to be more zen when they had to
Yes.
transform. They go, "I am transformed."
Yeah, it was interesting.
They were all having,
I remember
like,
I
seeing them
had the
struggle. That was
Cheetor
cool.
toy for that.
Yeah,
That
I
was
do.
like a big
I
thing
do
for
like, especially for Beast Wars, I do like the idea of it's not the same Prime
it. Mhm.
because then
Yeah.
he ends up finding Optimus.
Yes.
Like later
Yeah.
on in
That's
the show.
time travel.
Yeah.
And there was a reason.
I know, but that's what I mean, though.
Yeah.
The show, and you know what? And I feel like this is the reason we're totally getting off topic now, and we're already
we're
running out.
making
But yeah, we're making good time. But my big thing was that because I was talking about it with Monica a couple of days ago.
About Beast Machines?
Not Beast Machines, but in general,
Oh.
I feel like the cartoons that we used to watch were way more complex.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were so much more complex, which then
was
made
story.
it. Yeah, there was like a lot of story, but also I feel like that prepped me so that way later on, when I watched a movie that had a very complex storyline, or like we're gonna do time travel and we're gonna do X, Y, and Z that does this and connects here,
You're able to follow along.
I was like, okay, cool, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas like I was watching kids TV with Monica's nephew a couple weeks ago, and I was like, there's nothing challenging about this.
Yeah.
I'm following 100%. I want to be confused.
I think the last kids show that was like that, it was probably, I still haven't watched it.
Adventure Time?
No, it was Avatar.
Avatar is really, really
had
good.
a really good like balance of between like adult viewership and kids viewership.
I feel like Adventure Time also had a good one.
Adventure Time regular show.
The regular show.
Yeah,
There-
that's for that. You could totally tell that regular show was geared towards late Gen Z or Gen X and millennials.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gargoyles.
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 You know what?
Pretty serious for what it was back in the
what's funny?
90s.
Gargoyles is a wild show.
Yeah.
I used to love Gargoyles.
I saw the
I
animated
watched
show.
it again. It was on Disney Plus. I can't get through an episode. I don't know
How come?
why. I don't know. It's weird. I remember loving it as a kid, and then I'm like rewatching it, and I'm like,
Ah.
I'm
You know
kind of like,
You know what's also really weird too? I don't know how. As a kid,
yeah.
I sat through an episode of Gargoyles. It's slow.
It's
super
slow.
slow. It's
Yes.
a slow show.
It's
like
a
it's
slow.
a, it-
Each episode's really
it's
slow.
it's a slow burn.
But I remember certain episodes that were really good. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I remember that. And then I remember just to get to certain points, I don't know if it was the writing or something like that, just kind of like, it was just,
I don't
get
know.
to point A to point B, it took like 3 episodes.
Hang on, real quick. Do we know if the Mighty Ducks TV show is that on Disney Plus?
I think so.
Is it really? I want to watch
It
it.
might be.
I gotta watch it. Now I need to watch it because I haven't seen that show in forever.
You know what show I watched as a kid and I'm was like, oh yeah, this is still really good. It was Recess.
Oh,
Recess slaps no matter what.
Recess is still good.
It's Recess.
You know what else is really good? Fillmore.
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 Yes.
Remember
yes,
the-
on ABC
Yeah, it
Family
was-
Saturday
I
mornings.
I haven't seen Fillmore in years.
Yeah.
Dude.
Dude, a safety patrol detective, like
Yeah.
so good.
You know what? And I that also goes back to the same thing I was saying, though. I feel like kids' TV shows
Yeah.
aren't weird
Mm-hmm.
because, like, we had Cow and Chicken
Oh,
and
God.
Cat and Dog.
Cat Dog,
Real Monsters.
Real Monsters,
Red and Stimpy.
The Angry Beavers. Like these
Yeah.
are all
Oh,
really
yeah.
weird. These
Rocco's
are,
Modern
some-
Life.
Yeah.
they're all really
Ren and
weird.
Stimpy.
They're weird shows, and like they're kind of kooky
Yeah.
in a way. What was it? Courage.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Courage the Cowardly
Courage
Dog.
the Cowardly
is-
Dog is like nightmare fuel.
Yeah, like as a child, I don't know how. Like I watched it recently, and I
Yeah.
have no idea how as a child I didn't go to sleep. Like,
That was them building their applications, building their portfolios to get where they are now.
Which is
Probably
really-
later, and like, I'm gonna start with this kids' TV show, but I'm gonna show them I can blow their minds.
well, and that's really funny because that is kind of how that worked out. Because like Dave Filoni started there.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dave Filoni started.
Okay.
Because Dave Filoni started on a couple of them. What was it? Tiny Toons and all those other ones. That's where Paul Dini and them got started.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like animators who are now doing like adult animation, but they started with kids TV,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it like it's only like they only kept going. They kept moving up with us, but they no longer do the kids TV,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh man, like you did Teen Titans,
Yeah.
the Teen Titans show back in the day, so good.
Yeah.
Like if you go back and you
And
go like.
existential.
Like it's so like it's one of those things of like people thinking about who they are and where their place is in the world and everything else. And I know I sound like an old man going like back in my day.
We had substance
we
with
had-
our cartoons.
we had substance. No. But like I was watching a TikTok the other day and it was like Robin was so interesting. Like as
He cared.
he cared about about everybody else and like he was such an interesting character.
He didn't like to be vulnerable, like when Slade gassed him or whatever, and he's having the hallucinations, and everyone's just trying to calm him down, but he's like, "No, get off me."
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and,
That was
and
a good
it's so interesting, especially like I remember the episode where Slade brings Robin on, and then he's like, "Oh, you're gonna think of me like another father," and then he's like, "That position's already filled," and then it like scrolls away, and you see bats flying in the cave, and I was like, "Yeah, that's right, he's got Batman."
So
Slade does the same thing with Raven too.
yeah, same
Yeah.
thing with Raven. He's always trying to like weirdly put them like take
he's
them in.
groom
my
them. He's willing,
kids.
he's willing to groom.
And
Yeah,
the one that
which-
stuck around died.
Which also, I do appreciate that they made it less weird.
Yes.
In what was it? Where they made Tara less weird
Yeah.
with Slade,
Uh-huh.
where it was just she felt she finally had a home,
Yeah.
and it wasn't that Slade and her were sleeping together.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Like she's 16.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Child star.
He's 45.
child.
She's like 17. It's not great. It's not a
No.
great look. But yeah, I definitely recommend the transfer back to where we
Oh
were.
my gosh.
I definitely recommend the Transformers movie.
It was good.
It's really good. It had a lot of substance.
Yes.
I think if you were going to take your kids to it, definitely,
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot there. If you're kind of questionable about, bad language, I think the worst word that they say it is badass,
Yeah.
more or less.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else that was
It's
really
a PG
big.
movie, isn't it?
It was PG-13.
It was PG-13.
Really?
Yeah, it was PG-13.
Okay.
So
It's also, if you don't know anything about the Transformers, this is also a good introduction
Yeah.
as well too, because you get a good,
It's a fresh start.
yeah, you get a good origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a solid origin story.
Yeah.
They make their
and-
new continuity with it. This
Yeah.
is not going off
And you know what?
anything prior.
I had mentioned it
This
too
is
when we
cool.
walked out of the movie. Even if they were like, "This is connected to the Bayverse," and like, "This is how it happened," I was like, "You know what? I'm okay with that."
Yeah.
Like,
It's early enough. It's literally the beginning.
It's early enough. And not only that, but also it kind of makes things hurt more when you watch the
Yeah.
Transformers movies.
Yeah.
If you're like,
more,
"Oh,
it gives it more depth, more
yeah,
context.
they were friends
Yeah.
beforehand," and because they kind of talk about that in the movie.
Yeah.
Like in the Bay movies where it's like, "Megatron, we've talked about this. Like, we shouldn't, like, you don't have to kill." And he's like, "This is the only way to save Cybertron." And you're like, "Oh my God, like, that's it's kind of the same argument that they're having.
Yeah.
So it's only like centuries later they're still having the same argument, which is great. I 100% like go with if they wanted to connect this, I'm okay with it.
It's a great romance movie. You'll
It
love
is. It is. What was it? It is the it's the new was it Call Me by Your Name or anything like that? What is that? What was the My Name is Simon or something like that? The gay romance. I forget. There was like a love story that came out a couple of years ago about two men falling in love with each other, and it was like a forbidden love. And
Oh, really?
else. Yeah, I forget what the name of the movie was, but yeah.
Okay.
If you edit this in a certain way, they're gay lovers.
No, you're not wrong.
It's like 4 or 5 edits away.
Yeah.
It's like 4 or 5 edits away, and you're like,
You just need to add in like maybe like two more lines of dialogue. That's it.
Yeah.
you know what? You know what you need? The last fist bump. The hand opens and they grasp.
No.
That's all you need.
That's all you
That's
need.
all you need.
Yeah.
You're like,
That's true.
They want to sleep with each other.
Yep.
They're gonna do it.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna bang it out.
They're gonna smash bots. Let's go, GoBot. All right. Transform. All right. Any last comments?
I think if anything, I give Transformers 1 out of 10. I'd probably give it a solid 7. It's a 7. Yeah.
I say a 7 to an 8.
Yeah.
Give it an 8. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8. I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I would definitely watch it
I would
again.
watch it again. Yeah.
I definitely would watch it again. All right. Well, that is going to be the episode, everybody. Once again, this is issue 215. Don't forget to follow us on our don't forget to find us on our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com. Make sure to follow all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and x.com. If you want to listen to an audio version of the podcast, go ahead and go to Podbean. And if you want to see all of our skits, go ahead and go to youtube.com. You can go ahead and see our smiling faces and all of our skits. And we have LA Comic Con coming up pretty soon.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
We'll
2
be at
more
LA
weeks.
Comic-Con.
LA Comic Con.
So expect some footage from that in the coming of months.
In the coming months, we're going to be having stuff like that. All right, let's go ahead and close it out. I absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I used to be able to do this without having to think about it. I don't know what happened to me. Maybe I'm getting dumber. This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 215. My name is Nick Valero.
My name's Sean Rodriguez.
Rene.
Signing off from Undercity Comics. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.